And here's to you. We've started.
Well, thank you very much, Jürgen, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are. We are very glad and very proud to say we are coinciding our Globinar, first of all, with Learning Together episode number 335. Thank you very much, Vance, for your constant support, and thank you, Jürgen, for allowing educators to share our ideas getting together once a week. And thank you, Peggy, for giving me the honor and the chance to be your hostess today. Vance, well, if you want to say hi now, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that acknowledgement. Learning Together is something that takes place every week, usually on Sunday. The Globinars often take place on Mondays. And as Jürgen pointed out, we are connecting our networks because, coincidentally perhaps, Peggy and Rita are both members of the Webheads community of practice, the Webheads in Action. And that's something that I co-founded some time ago, in 2002. So basically, we just like to acknowledge that we have these connected networks because we're sort of piggybacking on this for Learning Together episode 335 this week. And the only thing I can add to Rita's introduction is that the date is the 13th of June, 2016. And thank you very much for being all members of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Vance. Thank you for the date, which I forgot to mention. Well, in this episode today, we will have the valuable opportunity to learn from Peggy George all about sources of free or low-cost professional development via Loudbinders. And let me give you a brief review of Peggy's achievements in her professional life. Peggy George has been a professional educator for over 50 years. She completed her BA in elementary education at Arizona State University and earned her Master of Education and Doctor of Education from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. She began her teaching career in special education, has had many administrative and leadership roles throughout her career, and has taught many courses including action research, classroom instruction and management, curriculum organization, technology integration in the K-12 classroom, classroom assessment, and the student teaching capstone seminar. Since her retirement, she has been involved in many educational technology projects related to Web 2.0 and best practices for technology integration in schools and universities. She co-hosts the weekly Classroom 2.0 live webinars on Blackboard Collaborate. She's a conference organizer for the K-12 online conference and volunteers to moderate many virtual conferences for the learning revolution. She is actively involved in the EdTech Talk, that is ETT community, through participation in weekly webcasts. Her passion is continuing to explore all of the latest technology innovations and social networking opportunities for engaging students and teachers in powerful interactive learning experiences. Peggy, the floor is yours, and thank you very much for allowing us all to share your expertise today.
Well, thank you so much for that great introduction, Rita. And huge thank you to Jürgen for inviting me to join all of you and share with you today. And I am jumping on my camera just for a few seconds here so that you can see what I look like and say hello to me. And then I'm going to turn that off for the presentation because I don't want it to drain on our bandwidth. So hello to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to turn it off now and we're going to move on. All right. I am moving into sharing the slides, and I'm hoping that you're going to be able to see this. All right, and it's coming up on my screen, but I need to get it back to the beginning.
Yes.
Oh, let me do that. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us. Our webinar today is going to be kind of a 2-for-1. I'm going to begin by sharing some things about live binders because they may be new to some of you, and some of you may be very familiar with them. I'm not going to do a tutorial about live binders because there are lots of places you can get that, but I want to show you some of the amazing features that it has so that if you don't know about it, you can check it out later, start an account, which is free, and then begin to start using live binders. But the 2-for-1 is that the real purpose of my webinar today is to be sharing some of the amazing free webinars and virtual conferences and online resources that are available to all of us, because sometimes it's just hard to know where to get started. And in these times that budgets are so tight and schools have such a hard time finding funding for professional development, I think it's important that we all know about where we can find these alternatives. And I really believe that they need to be flexible, and that means that you need to be able to access them when it's convenient for you, not just on a fixed schedule. So today I have created a superhero credit card, and I'm going to be talking about ways you can build your personal learning network through the live binder that I have created. I want to say a big thank you to Rita for being my co-host today, and she is so amazing. I know that she will help me get through this by jumping in whenever you have questions, because when I am screen sharing, I won't be seeing the chat. So thanks to you, Rita. And I do want to just add my 2 cents worth to say thank you to Vance for collaborating with us on this webinar and for doing such an amazing job of communicating about all of the things Learning Together is involved with. And I have a slide in here, and by the way, all of these slides are in the live binder that I'm going to be sharing with you throughout the webinar, so you can go back and access any of these and get to the links and that sort of thing. So thank you, Vance, for all that you do for educators around the world and for your Learning Together network. Now, some of you may not be familiar with the concept of a credit card, but I created a credit card just for this webinar. And a credit card or a charge card is usually a small plastic card that you carry in your wallet or your purse, and you use it to buy things. Well, this is a special credit card, and I'm calling it our superhero credit card. You don't need to download it. You don't need to click on any links to access it, because it's really just an idea. It's a concept that you have the power to build your own professional learning network, personal learning network, just by using the kinds of resources that I'm sharing with you in the live binder today. So if you think of it as a charge card, there is no cost for it, but your interest will compound daily based on the investments of time and energy. And this is a great credit card that never expires. And you can see on this credit card, I have put our superhero education leader, Jürgen Wagner, who is very much an extraordinary webinar host. And to get started, before I move into the live binder overview, I have a poll question for all of you to answer. And I think that Jürgen is going to bring this up on the screen. And I'd like you to let me know how much you already know about live binders. So what you're going to do is click on one of these options and let me know, is this the first time you're learning about live binders? Or maybe you've seen some live binders? Maybe you've created at least one and maybe more live binders. And maybe you're a regular LiveBinder user like I am, and you use it to curate resources all the time. So please click on the dot beside the one that's true. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am that there are so many of you that are learning about it for the first time. I know you're going to love it, and I can't wait to share it with you. And Jürgen, I'll let you decide when it's time to display those votes.
I've already broadcast the results, and if you click on View Votes, you'll see who voted how. I don't know whether you want to display this, but you can do as you please.
Perfect. Well, I'm taking a peek at it, and I hope all of you are too. And so now let's close that poll, and let's jump right into the information about live binders. Getting back to the slides.
We still see the first slide.
Yes, I haven't moved it because mine was still loading.
Okay.
Okay, so we're past the poll now, and I want to tell you about live binders. Now, probably all of you are familiar with the three-ring notebook binders that many of our students used all through elementary school and high school and college. And Live Binders is an online three-ring binder for teachers and students. The key there is that it's an online binder. It allows you to integrate all of your Web 2.0 content together. So you can see in this image here, there are images of all kinds of resources. You can see photos, you can see articles and blogs and LinkedIn and Evernote and Google Docs and Dropbox. All of those things are available to share inside of a live binder. So just think how great it would be if you can pull all of your favorite resources together on a topic and have them in one live binder link to share with your colleagues, your friends, your family, or your students. So it's basically an integration tool. And what it does is it integrates the web with URLs and desktop resources. And I'll be showing you some examples of that as we go along. A desktop resource might be a PDF document or a Word document or slides. Could be anything that you'd like to upload into your live binder, even videos.
Peggy, excuse me, just to jump in
Yes.
here, but there's been a question. And Maria Colusa from Argentina wants to know the difference between delicious and light binder.
That's a very interesting question, and thank you for asking. Delicious is a bookmarking site, a social bookmarking site. So it will save any site that you are on, and you tell it, save that in my bookmarks. But Live Binders allows you to not only save those bookmarks, and by the way, they are saved as a live website. So when you click on that link inside of a Live Binder, you see the whole web page, and you can actually click within that web page. In Delicious, it will save that link, and you would have to click on that link to go to that particular link. There are many social bookmarking sites, but Delicious is one, Digo is my favorite, and I use that one too. So thank you for that question. So a live binder is also a place. You can have many live binders, and you can save them all on a shelf. So this is a photo that shows you a combination of live binders. Lots of people use live binders, teachers, administrators, computer lab teachers, parents, students, librarians, all of them use live binders, and even businesses use them. I know parents that use them at home to coordinate things for maybe a class reunion or a trip that their family is planning to take. Really, the possibilities are just limitless. So I want to show you a few things about a live binder before I take you into our special live binder for today. The insides of a live binder look something like this. This happens to be a live binder for school librarians, and you can see across the top that there are tabs. They are the main tabs, and below that are sub-tabs. This particular live binder is organized in stacks, which is why you see tabs across the top and then sub-tabs below it. And then the content shows up when you click on any one of those tabs. Well, this is another example of a live binder, and this one is organized with the
Peggy,
tabs on the left.
Peggy, sorry for interrupting.
Sorry about interrupting, because as the slides will not follow you, Peggy, there are people in the audience who are asking you to say which slide you are talking about so that we can follow you by scrolling ourselves, right? We need to scroll down ourselves to just follow you with the slides that you are talking about, okay?
Oh, you can't see me change them.
No, we cannot.
Oh. All right. Well, the slide I'm talking about now is the insides of a live binder, and I don't see slide numbers, so I'm not sure what. Oh, it looks like number 11. I see it down in the bottom window there. So
Yeah.
this is about the insides of a live binder.
Okay.
Peggy, at the bottom left, you have a navigation through the PDF.
Yes, I do.
See the arrows?
Uh-huh.
You can use the arrows to navigate. Now it indicates slide 1 of 73.
I see that number now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this live binder has the tabs on the left side, and you get to choose how you want this to display when you create your own live binder. But there are several things I want to point out. You can change the color of your live binder and your tabs to make them interesting and easier to read. There's a link there where you can share your live binder, and it will give you a URL that you can share and other options for sharing. So live binders also have an amazing feature that's called a table of contents. It's available for every live binder, and it's basically one tab within the live binder that provides a table of contents for everything that's in the live binder. If you don't see that page when you click on the live binder, right up at the top where that red arrow is a very small T, and that stands for table of contents. So when you're inside a live binder, if you click on that T, you will bring up a table of contents. The table of contents for our webinar today is huge. So you could scroll all the way down until maybe you're looking for something specific. The table of contents is a great way to find that, and then scroll down and click on that link and it will actually take you to that link. I also want to tell you that you can add embed codes to your live binder, and it works for all kinds of things, really anything that has an embed code. And an embed code is something that they create for you with the document or with the video, and you just copy and paste that into the live binder. But they've done something really awesome recently. They have now made it possible for you to automatically embed several sites just with the URL, which makes it even easier to use. If you want to embed a YouTube video, all you do is add the URL. You don't have to copy and paste the embed code. And you can add YouTube, you can add all those amazing TED Talk videos, you can add Prezi presentations, Pinterest, and Vimeo. Any other sites that have embed codes, you can add by adding the embed code. I'm now moving on to slide 14, and I want to tell you about searching on LiveBinders. I have actually started using LiveBinders as my preferred search engine. And the reason I do that, because all of the LiveBinders that are on the site and made public have already been curated and vetted by teachers. That means we've got teachers selecting their favorite resources for us. So if I wanted to search on a particular topic, I would go right to that little search box at the top of the binder, and I would type in what I want to search. And an example of that is here on slide 15. I decided to search for digital portfolios. And here is the page that came up for me. Lots and lots of LiveBinders all about digital portfolios. Now, they're not all equally great, so you need to find one that matches your needs. And one little tip I like to share is that if it's been viewed thousands of times, you know that that's probably a really good resource. But it's not the only clue, because sometimes people have just created the LiveBinder and they haven't had enough time to get 1,000 viewers. So check out the ones that look interesting to you, and if you like them, then you can actually save them, make a copy, and put them in your own list of LiveBinders. The amazing thing about that is if you make a copy of it, it's now yours. It gives credit to the person who created it, but you can delete tabs, you can add tabs, and you can just make it your own. And that's an awesome way to get started. If you're not quite sure how to get going with a LiveBinder, make a copy of someone else's LiveBinder and then start editing that, and you'll see how that works. You can also search for binders by category, and you can see where I've circled in red. There are all kinds of categories. So if you're not quite sure what you want to look for, start with binder categories and take a look at that. And maybe you'll find exactly what you want. They have colored tabs, and they also have colored subtabs, and that sometimes makes them easier to read. So that's something I mentioned before and I don't want to dwell on, but this is another feature on slide 17 that I really like. You can actually upload multiple files into one binder all at the same time. So you don't have to add them one at a time. Maybe you're creating a class unit and you have a lot of documents that you want to upload for your students. Well, you can upload those all at the same time, and it'll put them all into separate tabs. You can also, on slide 18, upload content from an iPad app. They have a great iPad app. And so if that's what you're using, either personally or in your classroom, be sure to download their app, and then you'll see what your choices are and how you can find content to upload right into your LiveBinder. They also have something called a LiveBinder It button. That is something, an add-on that you can put in your browser, and anytime you're on a web page that you want to save to your LiveBinder, you can click on that tab, and that will automatically add it to whatever binder you choose. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details about this because I don't want this to be all about LiveBinders. So I have a tab, though, that has tutorials for all of this stuff, and I'll point that out when I do screen sharing on the LiveBinder for today. Another awesome thing you can do with LiveBinders, you can actually embed them on your blog or your website. And when you embed them, you see the full LiveBinder. You don't just see a link, but you see the entire LiveBinder, and people can actually click on those links right in that LiveBinder on your blog and go to any of the tabs. And I think that's an awesome feature, especially if you're organizing something. Maybe you're organizing it in Edmodo or Moodle or another learning management system, and that's an awesome way to do it. You can embed it on a wiki, which is something I've done. Okay, if you want to share your live binder, this is just a slide that shows you where to find that. And you click on that little tab, or it's an icon actually, right at the very top of your live binder. And it will give you a little drop-down menu, and it will give you a link to the binder. All you do is select that and copy that URL. It's under the Share tab link, and then you can paste that and share that wherever you like. It makes it very easy to share on Twitter or Facebook if you'd like to share a live binder that way. So that's a tip you're going to want to know about. And now on slide 21, I'm talking about how you can set your binders to be private or public. Sometimes you want to get it all created before you share it with everyone. So you can choose to make it private, and then you can set it public when you're ready to go and share it with the world. But if you're a teacher and you want to keep it private to just people, students in your class, or parents, or a very select group of people, you can also change that setting. And you do that by providing an access key, and then they have to enter that access key to be able to use it. And that's a feature that lots of teachers like because of the kinds of requirements their school or district might have. And the way you select that option is just to click on the access option, and you can make it public and copyable, which means anyone can make a copy of it and make it their own. Or you can make it public and disable copy. So maybe you've put so much work into your live binder that you really don't want everybody to be able to copy it and use it and make it their own. So you can make it so it's not copyable, and that's completely up to you. And you'll know if you go to click on make a copy and that's not one of your choices, then you're not going to be able to make a copy of that. But almost all of the public binders on live binders have that option to be able to copy it. You can also create a shelf, and you can add a binder to this shelf. And that's a great way to save your favorites. Maybe you discover a live binder you really like. Well, you just click on that little button at the top, and it'll give you a drop down and say add to shelf. And then it will be there for you. Every time you go back to your own shelf, you will find all the live binders that you've saved. And you can embed mini binders in a blog post. And this is a really clever idea. It's a small version of your full live binder, and you can put that right in your blog post or wherever you can embed something. It might be on your school website, and maybe you've compiled a lot of resources to tell students and parents about the school. Well, put that live binder on the homepage of your school website, and that makes it really easy for them to find all of that information. Like I said, you can even add videos to that page. So it could be you giving a personal welcome to them using audio. This is another option that is fairly new, and I want you to know about for any of you that might be going to the ISTE conference in Denver next month. You might want to use the Quick Conference app. It's just a simple little app that you can download, and you can use it while you're at the conference. And every time you see a QR code for something that you want to save, it may be a handout, it may be a display, it could be anything. It could be business cards and technology cards from the people that are there. If you scan that QR code in that app, it will automatically add it to your ISTE 2016 live binder, or any live binder that you have set it up for. And then you can go back to that live binder when you're online on your computer, and you can add other things. So maybe there were things you really wanted to save that didn't have a QR code. You can add that directly and personally right up to your conference live binder. And you can even collaborate on live binders. That's something that somebody's moving the slides. I'm not quite ready to do that. So this is just a slide that shows how you can choose to collaborate with someone else on a binder. Now this happens to be the first thing I've talked about that is something you need to have a paid subscription for. But if you just want to create your own and share them, you can do that with the all free application. They're free. There are some limitations, as are all free apps, but I love it when there is a premium version that has additional features that make our lives even better. So this slide is in here just to show you that it's a very reasonable price for the basic version of Live Binders, $25 a year or $4 a month, and you get all those educational upgrades. And as the Pro subscription, and I just use the basic myself. You don't really need the Pro subscription, but if it has features that you want to have, then you could subscribe to that. You can collaborate on a basic subscription, so that's a very reasonable amount for doing that. So now I want to take you into the fabulous Live Binder that we have ready for you to access today. And I know that Rita's going to be helping me out by sharing the link with you. Since I haven't been able to watch the chat, she's probably already done that. But I would like to tell you about the tabs in our Live Binders and just give you a quick tour actually through my Live Binder and tell you what you're going to find there. And I want to share my Chrome browser, and I am hoping that all of you are seeing this now. And Rita, if you would let me know if there is any problem with seeing this. I can't see the chat, so you'll have to tell me on mic. Okay, I'm not hearing you, so I'm going to assume that you're seeing this. This is what the Live Binder looks like.
See this, yeah?
Okay, can you see it?
Yes, definitely.
Terrific. Thank you for your feedback. The very first tab in the Live Binder says charge up your PLN, and this is the page you're going to see when you click on that tab. Now remember earlier I said binders have tabs, but they also have sub-tabs. So what I want to show you is when you click on a tab, it opens up and you see every single sub-tab that's under that tab. So I've just clicked on the free webinars tab, and I'm going to be telling you about a number of these, but there are lots and lots of them. So I'm not going to mention all of them, but I am going to show you a few just to give you an idea of what you'll find there. And whenever you click on a sub-tab, that page will open up and you'll see whatever is on that page. Suppose I'm going to go down here to, let's see, one of the webinar sites that you might like to check out. Maybe I'll go to the EdWeb Communities. When I click on that tab, you see a web page come up. This is the web page for all of the things on EdWeb. I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. But you can see that it is a live website. So if I wanted to click on something within that, I could actually click on any link that's here and go straight to it in the Live Binder without ever leaving the Live Binder. And that's a wonderful feature because you can kind of keep focused on what you want to do within that Live Binder without losing your place. So you can see if I scroll down this page a little bit, and I'm trying not to scroll too fast, look at all of the links there are for free webinars. You'll see Learning Together webinars there from Vance Stevens. All of Shelley Terrell's TESOL Free Friday webinars are there. And all you need to do is click on that link. And like I said, it will be an active live website, and you can actually click on the links within the live binder to go to those. The next tab in our live binder is all kinds of free virtual conferences. Every sub-tab is a free virtual conference. Now, some of them may not be live right now in terms of there's no conference going on right now, but they will give you the link to the website where you can find out, is there one coming up? And even more importantly, many of them have webinar or conference archives where they've saved all of the recordings for their conference. So you can click on their tab for the recordings and go back anytime you want and listen to the recordings that they have made from other conferences. And of course, then you can find out what's available that may be coming up. I happen to be a part of EdCamp Phoenix West, and we have a conference every year. If you click on that link, you'll get all the information about our EdCamp, and then you can find out when the next EdCamp is coming. You can also find out about the Global Ed Conference, and I'm going to tell you more about that in a couple of minutes, but that is an amazing conference. It has participants from around the world, and they record everything. So that's another one you're going to want to remember. But scrolling down here, you can see how many tabs there are along the left side of the screen of free virtual conferences. And I'll guarantee you, you're going to want to spend some time going through all the tabs and sub-tabs later on so that you can see what's there and start exploring some of those things on your own. The next tab in the live binder is kind of a bonus miscellaneous tab. And so I've called it Twitter, TweetDeck, hashtags, Pinterest, Periscope, and blogs, but it's even more than that. But I wanted to have a place to share with you ways that you can access free virtual online resources, podcasts, webinars, all kinds of things. And Twitter is one of the best ways to do that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and some of the tabs that are under this tab. These are actually sub-tabs. They not only include tools like TweetDeck and Pinterest and other kinds of sites, but they include lesson plans, free lesson plans, free videos that will teach you and your students about every subject imaginable. It will teach you about hashtags. I know the last webinar we had here, there were lots of questions about what are hashtags. And that's something you're going to want to learn about, and you can learn about it right here on this tab in the live binder. Maybe you want to learn more about blogging, whether it's for yourself or for your students. Lots of blogging tips and resources there that will teach you how to get started step by step on your blogging. And then I'm going to share a little bit with you about Periscope, which is another amazing tool where teachers more and more are starting to use it to share the amazing things that are going on in their classroom. And I'm going to tell you about one teacher in particular who I love following on Periscope, and you'll see why when I share about that. And closing out our tour, this Live Binders Information tab is the one that I mentioned earlier that has tutorials and all kinds of information about using Live Binders. Click on the link for Live Binder tips and tricks, and you'll see lots of tutorials there. This is a great example of how you can include many live binders inside of one live binder. So there are many live binder tips and tricks binders that I've included on subtabs under this particular subtab. So that's something that when you're ready to start learning more about live binders and actually getting started, you can go step by step through these instructions under live binders information. And then all of the presentation slides are right there. These are the slides I'm using with you today. So if you want to go back and take a closer look at them later on, you can click on the presentation slide in the live binder and you can find them. So with that, I am going to stop my sharing and go back to my slides and start telling you more about some of the amazing things that you're going to find on those tabs. All right, and I am waiting for my slides to come up, and I hope that you're seeing them now. I am now seeing them on my screen. And I'm going to move on. That was slide 28 where I did the tour. And I'm going to now ask you another poll question because I'm really interested in knowing whether you have ever attended an online webinar besides this one today. Lots of times it's the very first webinar that people are attending. So take a minute and just mark your vote on the new poll, which asks you, is this your first webinar? And there it is. So have you ever attended an online webinar prior to this one? And I don't see the buttons there. So maybe you can't vote on that one. Okay, let's close. We'll close out of that one then, since it's not possible to vote on that, and just tell us in the chat. So I see many of yours saying yes, yes, and that is good. We'll definitely close out that poll and go back to the slides because we don't want to lose a lot of time on the poll questions because it's just to help me have an idea about all of you.
Sorry.
So we're going back. That's okay, Jürgen, we'll go on from the
Yeah, but
poll.
I just managed to open it.
I saw we didn't have the little buttons to vote on when it came up the first time. So, but that's fine. Thank you for sharing in the chat to all of you. So the very first sub-tab that I have under free webinars is my very own show. And I really want you to know about this because I would love to have you join us anytime you can. It is called Classroom 2.0 Live. And we do webinars almost every Saturday of the year. And we always record them. So if it's not at a time that works for you, you know that you can go back and you can find the recording and a live binder for every single show. So and they're all guest presenters. So we try to invite really super teachers. We invite developers of new tools and new apps and things like that. We try to teach teachers how to use technology integration in their classrooms or in their schools. So this is just a screenshot of one page on our site. And you can always click on the Archives and Resources link up at the top there, and you can browse through all of our archives. I happen to put this one on the slide because it's such an amazing show, and it was done by Tia Cooper. Some of you might have heard of her. She is Tech with Tia on Twitter. She has this amazing live binder that is 100+ STEM websites and web tools. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. If you want to see in one live binder 100+ resources for STEM, that's the place to go check out. And you'll be able to listen to her recording, watch her demonstrate the live binder, and then go check out her live binder. So we have archives for every single show. And you can subscribe to them too, so they actually come to your email, or you can subscribe to the iTunes collection and watch them on your mobile device. Another amazing webinar site that you need to know about is called edweb.net. And by the way, all of these links are right inside the live binder for today. So Rita doesn't need to keep posting them because you will be able to access them all straight from the live binder. So I hope you'll find Live Classroom 2.0 and join us there. So now you're seeing edweb.net. This is an incredible site that has new webinars every single day of the week. And you can see they get a lot of great participation. On this screenshot I took, they said the #1 webinar that week had almost 457 live participants. And you know that there are many more that went back and watched the recordings. They record every single one of their webinars, and all you have to do is join edweb.net. Totally free, but you do have to join to be able to access all of the recordings and get invitations to come to all of the webinars. They have tons of learning communities in EdWeb, and I put a couple of slides in here just to give you an idea of what's possible. These are screenshots of all of the communities that I belong to. There are easily 45, 50 of them, but you can just join one. You don't have to join all of them, but look at some of the possibilities that are there. You can join a community for early learning, for assessment, for blended learning, for creating multimedia, for new teachers, for growing school gardens, game-based learning. All of these are communities, and all you have to do is say you want to join, and you'll start getting notified about their upcoming webinars. This slide also continues because I couldn't fit them on one slide. These are some more of my learning communities. Maybe you want to join a community about stop bullying. That's there. Maybe you want to join one about professional development or one about the brain. There, personalized learning. There's a community for almost everything. So go to edweb.net, sign up, and start finding communities that you'd like to follow. And this is one community that I want to point out to you because I think you might enjoy checking it out. It's called the New Teacher Help Community. Shannon Holden is the one who organizes this community. And he has different topics every single week when he presents. And it's not just for new teachers. It might be teachers that are new to technology because he'll introduce a tool. He might introduce Edmodo, and he'll tell you all about how you can use that with your students in the classroom. And there are many of you that are probably people who help new teachers get started. You can introduce them to this wonderful community, and they can start going there to learn on their own. And that's one of the real goals of free online webinars and conferences, is that teachers can choose what they want to learn about and when they want to learn it. And we call that learning on demand, so that they can get exactly what they need. And the next that I want to tell you about, I'm sharing just as an example, and I call it a mini Geek Fest or something like a Smackdown. Some of you may have heard of that term. It's something that my friend Kim Thomas and I created many years ago. Actually, it was in 2012, and we no longer are holding these, but we used to hold a webinar once a month, and we called it a mini Geek Fest. And the idea actually started when we used to do it face-to-face, just sitting together in a coffee shop or maybe in one of our kitchens. And we decided if we took it online, we could get a lot more people joining us and sharing their favorite tech tools. So we started the Mini Geek Fest online, and I would love to have you all think about doing something like this. You can host a free Google Hangout and actually then post the recording after the Geek Fest is over on your wiki or your website or your blog, and invite people to come back and learn with you. So if you happen to go to this link that is in the Live Binder, you will see the recordings from all of our mini Geek Fests that we held. We got people from around the world, and they would just jump on the microphone and they would do some screen sharing and share their favorite tool. So consider Mini Geek Fest. And now I'm on slide 38, if any of you are following slides by the number. And this is my next poll question, because I want to move into talking about virtual conferences and online courses. So if you can bring up that poll for this question, I'd like you to tell me, have you participated in a free virtual conference or online course? And hopefully we'll be right on track with this, and you'll be able to click on yes, the button. So if you have attended an online virtual conference, the one on the top is the webinar, so it's the one on the bottom that we want you to use to vote on. Have you participated in a free virtual conference or online course? Click the button for yes, no, or not sure. Maybe you're not quite sure what I mean by that. So let's see what those results are, and hopefully you're seeing it, and I see that there are quite a few no's and quite a few yeses. Thank you so much. It looks like more yeses than no's. And I also see some not sure's, and that doesn't surprise me, and thank you for choosing that, because that tells me that I need to explain to you more about virtual conferences and online courses. So we will close that out and go back to the slides. And we're going to I'm going to give you some examples now of things, and again, all of these things are in the Live Binder, that are examples of free virtual conferences. One of the people who hosts many of the free online virtual conferences is Steve Hargadon. Some of you may have met him or heard of him, but if you go to his website called The Learning Revolution, and that tab is in our Live Binder, he lists all of the virtual conferences that he hosts, and they are all free. They run year long. They're all at different times. The slide I'm showing you here is one of his amazing conferences called Library 2.0, and they hold several conferences throughout the year. Some of them are several days long. Some of them are just a part of a day. And again, they're all free. So if you're a librarian, or if you work with librarians and you'd like them to go to see these presentations, tell them about this conference and how they can join in on the conference when it's live. You can get all the dates and times and everything. All of Steve's conferences also have a special time zone calendar. And one of the most challenging things for people around the world about participating in webinars and virtual conferences is you don't know what time they start and when to show up. And Steve has a calendar there where you click on your time zone and all of the events show up in your own time zone. And that is something I so appreciate, because it is so hard to figure out on your own. Another conference, and I mentioned this earlier and I want to tell you about it again, the Global Education Conference is also a conference hosted by Steve Hargadon, and this particular conference is co-hosted by Lucy Gray and Steve Hargadon. They have a big conference that lasts a whole week in November, but they also have other events throughout the year. They have a big global education day that's coming up at the ISTE conference. You have to be present to participate in that one. But the big conference that's coming up in November is all free and all online, so you can access that from anywhere at any time. And again, they also record everything. You can go back to many of the previous year's conferences and listen to recordings that were done then, which is something I love to do because there are so many offerings, it's hard to participate in all of them. So the next conference I want to tell you about is another conference that I'm very active with, and this is the K-12 Online Conference. This is also a link in the binder, and if you have not participated in this conference, I strongly encourage you to check it out. It's a little bit different than many of the other virtual conferences because it is not a synchronous conference. That means you don't have to all log in at the same time to participate. What you do is every day of the conference, there are 2 full weeks of presentations. There are keynotes for every single strand and then presenters. You log in on the day of the conference or any day after that, and you can choose which of the presentations you want to watch. The keynote presentations may be up to an hour long, but the regular presentations are only 20 minutes long. And that 20 minutes is just a perfect time to just really check out the exciting things they have to share with you. And you can access these anytime from the K-12 online site. It's just that during the conference, we just post a few each day, so you don't get overwhelmed by seeing all of them uploaded on the same day. I get up very early in the morning every day of the conference and upload those recordings to iTunes U. So you can actually watch them on your mobile device, on your iPad, your iPod if it plays video, your iPhone, or any mobile device, and you can watch those recordings there. This is just a page that is an example that in the K-12 online conference, you actually could earn professional development credit, and we give you some guidelines for how you might be able to do that. But the main thing I want to share with you about that is that you might, if you offer professional development for other teachers, you might want to use some of their examples as how you can set up a certificate and expectations so that they can get professional development credit for your webinar or your virtual conference. And in the binder, I included a sample letter. And this letter is something any teacher could use as an example to make their own letter to ask their principal or school head or district leader if they could get credit for the webinar or the conference that they're participating in. That sample letter is there for you to take a look at. You could download it and edit it and then send it to your own principal or leader to find out if you can get professional development credit there. These are some of the ideas that I want to have you keep in mind if you want to set something like that up for your own teachers, or if you want to participate in the K-12 online conference and get professional development credit for it. You can ask them to submit just a short video, maybe could even be a Facebook Live video, 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, and post it and share it with others in the conference. They could create a digital story using VoiceThread to show what they learned. They could create a podcast or a slide presentation. They could create a wiki space that shows exactly what they learned and maybe embed a live binder that they created. These are just a few examples, and they're all on the slide so you can take a look at them for ideas later. Those are all ways you could invite your teachers to do something above and beyond just watching the presentation to learning and applying what they learn. Another great free virtual conference is ISTE Unplugged, and there are many things that are offered there. This happens to be the HackEd Unconference Day that will be at ISTE, and it is every year. They stream many of their events, but if you go to that site, you'll see what's being offered there at the conference, and you'll get links to other live stream kind of events that are happening there. But if you can't go to ISTE, there is a great hashtag, and it's actually for this year. It's not at ISTE 16. And I put this one up because last year, one of the developers of Live Binders, Barbara Talent, organized an entire Live Binder for all of the people who could not go to ISTE. It's a very expensive conference. Travel is expensive, boarding is expensive. So she created this Live Binder and shared all kinds of resources from ISTE and from people who were not at ISTE who wanted to do their own presentations, or maybe they wanted to create a blog post about any topic that they were interested in, and they tagged it this way. This year, there will be a new Live Binder, and it's not at ISTE 16. And I'm going to be working with Barbara Talent to create that Live Binder. And everything that comes through on a tweet that has not at ISTE 16, we're going to be adding to that Live Binder. So don't feel like you need to miss out if you can't go to ISTE. There will be tons of resources there for you. And now I want to tell you about the next tab in my Live Binder that you have access to today. And this is that sort of miscellaneous tab that has all kinds of things. Twitter, TweetDeck, hashtags, Twitter chats, Pinterest, Periscope, blogs. Oh my, and I bet you're going, oh my head, it's spinning. There's just too much to think about. Just think about these as possibilities. Later, you can go back in and explore them and really check them out. And I put this image inside the Live Binder, and it's too small for you to read on the screen. Don't even try. But you can read it full size in the Live Binder. It shows you all of the amazing kinds of social media that are available for anything you might want to do. And on every one of those little flowerlet tabs there, you see ideas for it. What if you want to do, have discussion boards and forums? Right here on this part of the image, you'll see specific suggestions for applications that could help you do that. I don't want to spend more time on that one right now because you're going to want to explore that full size in the binder. So now I'd like to know from all of you, and this is our next poll, what do you do for organizing your professional learning? And this question is asking you, do you use a Twitter management tool like TweetDeck? Now, it might not be TweetDeck. It might be Hootsuite or something else. I'm loving a new tool called Participate Learning, and I'm going to show you a slide about that. So the poll is showing, I don't see the buttons yet. Are the buttons going to, there they are. Do you use a Twitter management tool? And I'm going to say yes, because actually I could not manage Twitter if I didn't. And once you start seeing the benefits of a Twitter management tool, you're going to want to use it too. Because if you're just watching things flow by on Twitter, you're never going to catch anything because they go by too fast. So I see that the majority of you that are using the polling tool are saying no, and a few of you are saying yes. I can't wait to tell you about how amazing this is. So let's go back to the slides, and I have an example of TweetDeck. And I'm going to show you how this works. It's coming up for me now. And sometimes people don't even know, why is Twitter such a great thing to use? Because maybe they've only seen people tweeting about what they had for breakfast or what their favorite snack is or where they're going out that night. But I want to tell you that Twitter is one of the most awesome professional development tools you can use. And the key to that is following people that share your interests and passions and are doing and sharing amazing things so that you know you're getting good things in your Twitter feed. They may be sharing newspaper articles or research papers or blog posts. They may be sharing things that they're interested in. Yes, they may be sharing some personal things. They may be sharing photos. They may be telling you about an upcoming ed camp. There are just so many things that they can share. Now, if you're following hundreds of people, and you can follow thousands of people, you've probably seen some of the movie stars and athletes and celebrities that have millions following them, but most people don't have that many people following you. So this is an example of what your screen would look like if you use TweetDeck. And what TweetDeck does is it allows you to create columns for each hashtag that you want to follow. So if I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything from Learning Together, I'm going to create a column for that hashtag, and it's going to fill up just with the tweets about Learning Together in one column. And so it makes it much easier to keep track of. It will always show your notifications. So if someone sent you a private message, you'll have a column where just those messages show up, so they don't get lost in all the others that are just flowing by so fast. Maybe there's a group that you really want to keep track of. In my example here, and you'll be able to see it much better inside the live binder, I love following connected principals because I'm a retired elementary principal, and I like hearing what principals are talking about, sharing with their teachers, and doing to help their teachers learn more about technology. So I have a whole column just for them. I will have a column for the ISTE 2016 conference as well as the Not at ISTE 2016 group. So I can follow all of the tweets just for that. And that is just exactly what TweetDeck can do for you. Hootsuite is another example, very similar to
Sorry
TweetDeck,
to
that you
interrupt.
can use.
Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt you. Well, I'm back after a power cut in my area, so I'm glad to be back. But anyhow, there is one question in the chat. Somebody asks
Okay.
whether you know TweetDeck is possible for Androids. Can you run it with Android?
Yes, it is. And if you go to their website, tweetdeck.com, you'll see what the alternatives are for it. You can actually use it in your browser, but you can also download it to your desktop, which is what I do because I don't want to have to go to a separate tab in my browser, and it's always instantly available to me in my desktop version. But you can view it in your browser, which is something you can do on any kind of device, as well as they have an app.
Thank
Now,
you
if you're
very
not,
much.
thanks for asking that. If you're not sure what educational hashtags are or that might be good to follow, I have a link in the binder for Cybraryman, and he has a whole section of his website that lists all of the possible educational hashtags that you might be interested in. And he also has resources that teach you of what hashtags mean, how to use them, how to create them, how to follow them. All of those resources are on that tab for you. If you were to follow EdChat, which is hashtag EdChat, these are the kinds of tweets that you would be seeing, and you can see them any time of day or night, but they have a regular EdChat time when everybody joins in at the same time and talks about a topic, and they'll ask questions and people will answer them. If that's something you would be interested in doing, I would strongly encourage that, and I'm going to tell you about how I like to do that. There is this fabulous new tool called Participate Learning, and they have a whole section on their resource site that includes all kinds of teaching resources besides chats, but they have an entire section just for Twitter chats. And if you go to that site, and you'll see this in the live binder, you can select any hashtag that you would like to follow. The example I included here is augmented reality for learning, and it's a hashtag that I love to follow because I love learning about all the things they're doing with augmented reality in every subject area. Well, they have a hashtag that they use, and once a week they have a Twitter chat. And in that Twitter chat, they will ask a question. So you can see right here in this image that this was the question number 4, and they posted in the chat and everyone started answering it. This is why I love Participate Learning. It makes it so easy to follow a Twitter chat. So if you want to participate in one, but you don't know how to do it and how to keep up with it, sign in to Participate Learning and follow it this way. Another amazing thing about it is that it compiles all of the resources that are being collected in that Twitter chat, and it drops them right into a menu on the left-hand side. So maybe there were 10 people in that Twitter chat that shared a link to a resource. You don't have to click on that and open it in your browser and have like 25 tabs open at a time. They all save right there in Participate Learning, and then you can go back and open them up anytime you want. And you can follow it just by the questions and the answers. And they have a little tab right up at the top that you can click on for Q&A, and it will show you questions in order with their answers, so they never get lost in the entire chat. So I encourage you to take a look at Participate Learning if you don't know about it yet. I also want to tell you about Pinterest. Lots of you may be using Pinterest, but maybe you're using it for personal things like home decorations or recipes or things like that. But there are amazing educators that are using Pinterest, and I'm telling you about a couple that I've included in my live binder, but there are many others. Laura Candler is a fabulous educator. She has over 100,000 followers. This image was taken quite a while ago, and it said she had 36,700. But she has 43 boards, and on every board she has many pins. You can see there are hundreds. This one has 724 pins. And you can click on any interest you like and go to those, and you will see all kinds of resources for that subject area. Another person I love to follow is Eric Scheninger. He was a principal. He's now an international speaker and world traveler. He has written many books, but you can follow him on Pinterest, and you can see how he was using Pinterest to share with his teachers and educators around the world, like me. Another tool I want you to know about, if you haven't discovered this, is Periscope. And Periscope is basically a live streaming tool that you can do from your cell phone or the website. And on Periscope, keep moving it accidentally, you can share anything that you like. Some people take you on guided virtual field trips, maybe around their school or around a nearby location. Some teachers take you on a tour of their classroom. They're just amazing things that happen with that. So in this slide, I'm telling you about Tony Vincent because he is an awesome Periscope user, and he created an infographic on his site, and it's in our live binder, that teaches you all about how to use Periscope, getting started with their video and some of the amazing things that you can do. He's somebody you will want to follow if you decide you want to try out Periscope. And you don't have to broadcast anything. You can just go in and watch other people's broadcasts, which is what I usually do. Another person that I love to follow is Hope King, and she has an amazing Periscope. She does shows regularly, and she also has a fabulous blog, and her blog is called Elementary Shenanigans. If you go to that link on the site, you're going to see some of the videos of Periscope she has done. But one of the most amazing things you're going to see is a tour she took us on her classroom. And she actually created an entire wonderland of Alice Through the Looking Glass. You're not going to believe what she created in her classroom just using donated items, things donated by parents, things she found at thrift shops and places where the garage sales, places where they were virtually free, and her parents helped her to create this amazing environment. And I hope that you'll take a look at that and watch some of those videos, and you will see how excited kids get about learning in that kind of an environment, and you will see amazing ways that she keeps her students on task for every lesson she does. It's not just an exciting place to be, but it's a place where learning is happening, so be sure to check that out. Another site I have in there is Cybraryman's educational websites, and I've given you a bunch of, he gives you a bunch of Twitter hashtags for people to follow on Twitter, and it gives you lots of information about blogging, and I want to encourage you to do blogging with your students. And one of the resources in the binder is an entire blog series on how to blog with your students, and it will take you step by step through setting up your blog, setting up the pages, writing your posts, adding widgets, adding video, all those things in the EduBlogs Teacher Challenges. So take a look at that tab if you think you might like to start creating blogs with your students or with other teachers. So how can you keep... Yes, Rita.
Sorry to jump in with a question now. Matthias wanted to know the difference between the previous tool and YouTube channels.
The previous tool that I was talking about was Participate Learning. Is that what she's asking about?
Matthias, I think so. Matthias, if you are listening, yes. No, Periscope, he says.
Oh, Periscope. Okay, so you actually can save your Periscope videos to YouTube. But if you can create YouTube videos on your own mobile device, you can do that too. It's just an alternative to live streaming and then saving the recording and posting that video on YouTube or wherever you like. I hope that answers that. So I want to quickly summarize. How can you learn about these opportunities and keep track of them? Because you saw I've gone through so many of them. I want you to think about building a personal learning network, and start by people that are in this webinar, and start by people you meet when you browse through that live binder. And by meet, I mean you go to their website, and if you like what you see there, start following them on Twitter. Try TweetDeck. You can even subscribe to their email newsletters if you have a hard time keeping up with all of the social media. So try TweetDeck. And then when you find something you love, share it back out. If you're on Twitter, tell your friends and your teacher colleagues what you discovered. And that's why Twitter is so valuable, because there's so much sharing. Even invite your principal or your head teacher to join you and get them to start sharing things that they are excited about. I want you to remember, start small. Don't try to do all these things at one time. Pick one idea so you don't get overwhelmed with the possibilities. And remember to have alternatives and choices. Everybody doesn't learn the same way. Some people really don't like to go to webinars. It's just too much sitting and getting for them. So give them an alternative, which may be something like the K-12 online conference, where they can go in and learn at their own pace and own time and watch it whenever they're ready. Invite other people to participate with you. If you know of a great video recording that you want to tell other teachers about in your school, just have a little lunch pizza get together and invite them in, watch the video together, and then talk about it, and maybe get on your computers and try something out that you learned in that video. That's a great way to do it. And also remember to celebrate and recognize sharing and active involvement from any of the teachers that you work with. And this last tab, I think we'll skip this poll, Jürgen, so that we can move right on to some of the resources under this tab. Just want to highlight a few of these. There are videos that you can go to on Learn It in 5, and he has a YouTube channel, which I have the link there. The site seems to be down right now, but his YouTube channel has all of his video tutorials. You can pick any topic and just go to them and learn about them. If you haven't learned of PBS Learning Media, that is an incredible site. Thousands and thousands of teaching resources. They are videos, they are lesson plans, all kinds of things. You can search by grade level, by topic, by type of document. Maybe it's audio that you want or interactive. You can go to that site and watch those anytime you're ready. And you can embed them on ThingLinks. If any of you use ThingLinks, that's a great tool. You can find lots of Discovery Education lesson plans. Those are in the binder. You can go to Scoop It, where you can find lots of free Den resources, but many other things. I do a Scoop It that's all about screencasting and flipped classroom. You could follow that. You can go to lessoncast.org and find lesson plans for every subject imaginable. Again, you can search by topic, by grade level, go to their gallery and see what's being shared. And you'll find lesson plans that you can use with just minor changes to meet the needs of your students. So I'm going to skip over that one, and I want to end with a couple of reminders. And this webinar has really been all about taking charge of your own learning. And I love this image because we really do need to move beyond the idea that an education is something that is provided for us by someone else, and move toward the idea that an education is something that we create for ourselves. And with all of these free tools and resources, it makes it very easy for you to start taking charge of your own learning. I also have on that slide and in the live binder a fantastic Flickr group site, which is all photos that have great quotes for learning and change. You can go to that site and you can find the perfect image of a quote that you like with a photo, and you can actually download it and use it in your own slide presentations. You can even upload your own images with quotes to that site, all free. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And the last thing I have in that live binder is this amazing video. If you want to hear some really outstanding educators talk about how important the personal learning network is, you need to listen to this video, and you can watch it right there in the live binder. Lots of great educators there are giving you their tips about the value of having a personal learning network. So remember, you've got this special charge card. It's imaginary, but it's real. And you can use this charge card by accessing this live binder and take charge of your own personal learning. And one final reminder, remember that learning takes time. So be patient with yourself. I love this cartoon. Just act casual and try to remember which buttons you pushed. How many times has that happened to us where we push the wrong button and all of a sudden we can't even find how to get back to where we were? So with that, I'm going to wrap up my comments and invite Rita to come back on and see if there are any other questions that were shared that I could answer here at the end.
Yes, any questions for Peggy? Well, Peggy has provided us with a wealth of information. So thank you so very much, Peggy, because this has been so enlightening. We've learned so much with your presentation. And I'm sure that people will have questions because, of course, we'll have to go,
Yes,
to go
I
to
think you're right.
every website
And
ourselves and go on exploring.
yes, and the questions will probably come up when you start getting into the live binder and start exploring on your own. So you'll have my contact information there, Rita's information there. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and send me a tweet. And I will be happy to get back to you if it's something I can help you with or a link I can share with you that will help you. It is overwhelming. If you try to think about all these things at once, it's too much to even remember. But if I can, I'm going to try to post the recording of this webinar right inside the live binder. And if that's not possible, everyone that's here is going to get a link to the recording, so you'll be able to watch that recording again. And the good thing, obviously, about watching a recording is you can actually pause it as you go along. So you can have the live binder open in one tab and then pause the recording and then go check that out in the live binder and then start the recording up again. So I encourage you all to take advantage of that and feel free to reach out with me, to me, with your questions anytime after this webinar.
Yes, again, thank you very much. And everybody's so happy to come out of this webinar today with so much information to chew and digest in the near future, because, I mean, we'll need a couple of months to go through every single tool that you have mentioned today and explore it fully. So thanks so much, Peggy. And thank you, Jürgen, again for providing all of us with these webinars and the possibility of sharing so much with colleagues all over the world. So thanks, Vance, as well. You're always there, Vance, behind all our work and supporting all kind of enterprises that we can or want to take up in order to share more and explore more. Thanks everybody for being here, and okay, I think we can call it a day.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Yeah, and thanks from my part as well. Peggy, it's been wonderful to have you as a presenter. So far you have greatly enriched all the webinars in which you have taken part. I'm really proud of having you as a presenter. And there will be future webinars with Rita, which I'll announce in my follow-up mail. And I hope to see you soon again. I'll hold the recording now if... Okay, so bye, see you next time.